back. Hope you're having a good day. Today I'm gonna just kind of lightly prune two of my tiger bark trees. But this one I wired up 3 months ago. The wire is really biting in mostly on the apex, but it's biting in quite a bit, and I only have two wires on it. I got the apex and this branch wired together, and then I've got these two branches over here wired together. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take it all off. And then, you know, I've been kind of in the habit of every time I take the wire off, I cut it way back and then wire it up again. But this time I think I'm just gonna take the wire off. And you know, if you notice, you know, it's got all these little sprouts. I had it down to nothing when I pruned it or whatever. It's got all these little sprouts, they're sticking straight up. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of lightly prune it, leave plenty of green on the tree, and just let it develop like that a little bit here in early spring. I've got enough trees out there with wire on it that I got to keep a close eye on and everything. Alright, so I'm going to start at the bottom, kind of work my way up here. Got this one branch here. This one already has two sub branches coming off of it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut the thicker one and just leave that bigger one on there. I'm going to try to leave some of the growing tips, especially the growing tips that weren't pointing like straight directly up. Since I'm here, I can see that piece is coming right out of the bottom of that. Some kind of web there. I hope that's nothing destructive. Seems to be a little bit too healthy to have any real serious pests on there or anything, but those are getting up towards the apex, so I probably will go ahead. This one too, I'm gonna get up to the apex here in a minute. I kind of got distracted heading up that way when I said since I was there. Coming around here to this one's super long, pointing way up. It's got two branches coming off the side. And the main branch there is coming out in a curve, but it's not like it's a curve up here. It's on a branch. So I think it's a keeper, but it's also got another one coming right out of the bottom. And then this one coming out of the top. I was hoping to get a branch right out of the end there. I'm thinking that's just going to be a bit of dieback or whatever, but I'll leave it and just see what happens. This one kind of did what it was supposed to, got the branch out of the end. Has that one going straight up. That one's in a decent position. That one's in a decent position. This branch is kind of going into this one, but the only reason it appears like it's going into this one is because this one here is way too long and coming out of the bottom. That one's not in a bad spot. And then that's the other thing I was hoping that would happen on the other side there, is that this one is growing that branch right out of the end. So I'll go ahead and let those ones, especially out of the end, leave those with the tips and everything. And then up here in the apex, got plenty of movement. I mean, this is my, you know, my thought about front here. This branch will probably get wired in some kind of position like that eventually. Not today though. This is right out of the side. So you got a branch here. This one's coming out of the same side, but I'm going to leave it for now. So kind of getting up in here where it won't matter all that much. And then this guy, I'm going to leave it, but it's got a lot going on. There, I just kind of left two branches there. You know, ramified off there one branch, and then two branches coming off of it. Then I got one of it coming out of that side of the apex. And then there's two branches coming out of the same side, or same spot. So I took one of those out. Again, that seems really busy, so I'm going to take those that are coming straight up out. And then I'm just going to take this thicker part of the apex off. And again, with the idea of just letting that kind of keep building some taper, but left growing tips pretty much everywhere. And I could get more aggressive if I wanted to, but I think right now I've kind of got decent little shape going there. Let me go get this guy's mother. All right, and here is the mother tree. As a matter of fact, since I got the same video right here, that's actually the scar there of where that other tree just came from. So I had a guy wire holding that down. I just took it off before I turned the camera on for some reason. No big deal, but I thought about trying to wire this up, but as long as I don't cut it, it stays nice and flexible. And I would like to, I'd like to get it to where this branch is as thick as that branch, or at least to where it finishes kind of healing that wound up there. So I'm going to leave it grow with But just in the name of what I'm trying to do today, I'm going to take these two here off. I'm trying to get the tree to expend energy into things I plan on keeping. And one day, I'll come out here and, wire, get some movement in it, and then go ahead and clip it off. But all of this I'll leave just so that it does continue thickening up some. Those little sprigs back there weren't doing much. And then, this was at one time my proposed front. I still may leave it that way. It's leaning towards you a little bit. See the scar on there. But then I think over some time, if these scars do finish healing, this side here should look pretty interesting too. But over time here, just over a month ago, it was a month ago that I made the last video for this guy, and the only life on it was this. So all of this has grown in like a month. And it's just getting too much crazy growth. And if I let that crazy growth kind of go, I won't be able to monitor the wires. And then it'll just get to be where next time I prune it, I feel like I got to prune everything back to nothing again because I can't even see what I'm doing. The idea here is I can come in, get all this growth that's coming up out of the crotches, and like here on the end, there's like 5 growing tips. Get down to just 1 on that branch. Again, no major branch removal or anything like that. Just trying to keep it a little more manageable, since when by the time this branch gets big enough to compete with this one, I do want to leave that, just because this one will eventually, I want to kind of keep that one long as well. And again, if I ever have to remove that branch, you do want the bottom branch to be the widest, so. The more I decide this side here is a better looking front, other than the scars and the fact that it's leaning away from us. But if those scars heal, it should actually be the more interesting side. And probably plan on having that pulled down one day to be just a branch, and then let that be the apex again. Keep some taper there and everything. Have to remember to check on this guy pretty soon again, because even though I just cut off all that growth, I can already see that this is already, the wire's already getting pretty tight on there or whatever. Should start growing again here real quick, since I do plan on tying that down, or eventually getting that down. I'm going to take the growth that wouldn't work there off, just to again get that putting energy towards branches I plan on keeping on there. Alright, once that guy catches up down here, this should be a really cool looking tree.